What's good? What's good? I'm live. So let's talk about it. Well, you can listen to me talk. You know, Friday the 13th. This is the production of Friday the 13th, as well as Now More Than Ever. Great introduction to a very significant date. 13 is a very special number for various reasons. You know, towards the quarter point of my ascension process that brought me here, I paid attention to a lot of numbers. If you're someone that watched my most recent upload, not release, that has in the title, All Divine Masculines. All Divine Masculines should have watched that video. Those that believe that they are divine masculines, those that are trying to be a divine masculine, and perhaps even the divine masculine that you know is divine, should have watched that video because it is telling. It's telling about the future and where we're going. Now, a lot of people got on their knees, and I heard a lot of, well, I'm not a divine masculine from a lot of dudes. So the realization that they are not divine, they don't hold the divine rank. Although up until this point, they just thrall it about as if it was saying that they are a savage beast. You know, just let's pick apart divinity, because that is telling in itself, right? Divinity, it sounds like it's upper echelon. Yeah, the upper top tier of a person. Divinity. Like a lot of people, they're scared to have that energy, the divine energy, because that means you're held to a higher degree. When you say anyone that has a divine title, you would think that that person would be top tier. Of course, we all know that it's a process, right? It's a process. Welcome to all the new content creators coming in. You know, hey, listen, I done seen some stuff just in the last couple of days let me know that I'm tapped into someplace else. Listen, y'all don't know that y'all have bore witness to ONJ encounters where another being would just inhabit a body right before your eyes and start talking. Those that are in media, broadcasters, editors, they don't understand what they're seeing when someone starts blinking and trying to gather their words. It happens just like that. There's no hocus pocus involved in it, although they wish they could. You know that somebody right now wants to get a mart, put a wall candle in front of it, and say, I'm sassafras. And they want their zeros to magically appear in their account. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what they think Splifka is all about. It's like I've been sleepwalking my whole entire life, and now that I feel like I could just get me one of these candles, we're just gonna excuse the fact that there's a lot of truly revered spiritualists that spend a lot of time, many moons and Sundays, formulating their craft, and you can spend up to $150 on a candle from a real practitioner, but hey, this marked wall one will work just fine because I am not divine. People that do stuff like create splifka candles, do you understand that those individuals The ones that really work have a divine title. Oh, high priest have a divine title. Wait, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the truth. Because some of y'all feel like it's just you know, sports players and celebrities that are divine masculines because we can see their debt. We can see their net worth, so they're divine. Imagine, do you think that low of God? Some of y'all, hey, hey, some of these folks really believe that God made them divine because they got zeros attached to their name. We just gonna dismiss all the facts, or so-called facts, wink wink, in the Holy Bible and the Quran that says everything that goes against that in itself, but whatever. Was was there poor men represented in all of this spiritual doctrine? Yes. Who told it? The wealthy. The wealthy told the story of a poor man. Well, who's divine? Well, you be the judge of that. Because what does divinity mean to you? Friday the 13th. You know, a lot of people fear 13. Back in the day, right? A lot of these older buildings would reserve the 13th floor for the mezzanine, right? So there would be no hotel rooms on those floors specifically. I don't know what they're doing now in some of these other ones, these newly built ones, but usually that's how it is. You'd be shocked in some of these old ones, we're going to the mezzanine for, 12? Oh, it's on 13. These buildings were crafted in a special period. Why is it important? Because it's Friday the 13th. This is my content. I sat back, right? This is a saying where the hunted becomes the hunter. It's mass cracking season. See, somebody like me has to be fearless in the face of adversity and rivals. Especially when you have a position where everyone and their mamas, feel like they could just, if they feel like if they got the supreme being title, not rank, put me with Ether. Let me talk to Ether. And I don't bit much want to talk to him. I'm like one of them. They say you are your father's child, because even they are aware that it took a lot to create this here. My entire being, I've been having to go down the river Nile. You know what I'm talking about? I've been having to go down the river Nile because apparently I'm impotent, not just here on Earth, but in the cosmos. And so after years of saying, I don't want to talk to you, itch, woo, 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 woo. The nice me is gone because I have no one to be nice to. So it's like when the realization reaches their thoughts that, wait a minute, we're in the new paradigm. Someone say, well, it happened very quickly. No, it did not. It took a long time to get here. When I say I had to be shipped, moved down the river now, those that are biblical understand, right? You know, wasn't it a passage where in the Bible where they talked about they had to hide the baby Jesus for fear of what they would do to him? Similar situation. I guess it's safe for me to say all the ones that have a divine title have experienced it or is going to experience it, because you can't just have a whole spiritual community that understands the divine masculine, divine feminine energy without having an upheaval. And yes, some readers, oracles, doctors, sports players, celebrities, some of them are divine beings. But see, the thing about my job, when you're dealing with an elect one, these originals, they're going to say, how was you appointed a divine being? Who made you a divine being? Because if you off in here illegitimate, then they have a problem with that, because that means you destiny swap with one of theirs. And conveniently, everybody feels like they're ghosts. Some are fully aware that being means you always be, but they have selective memory. I give them that. So that means even if the body does not exist here, then the being is somewhere. That is the whole point of being a being. So that means we don't DIE, we multiply. So after baby's kids. After I said, psst, psst, listen, does everybody want me? Either you need to do a reading. No, I don't want to do a reading. Either we need you to go live. No, I don't want to go live. I said, psst, psst, come here. All right, it is where we need her to be. Yeah, it is where you need her to be. Now, either finna give you all your energy back. Because here I'm displaying the hunted becomes the hunter. If they thought they could take me out, they definitely would. Now, I don't advise none of y'all to say nothing like that, because you don't know who you are. I just, sometimes things need to be stated. Now, those that are observant, right? You see the constellations in that reading. And it's pretty self-explanatory. If I were to continue on with just that deck, it would be so much information coming out. The average person would say, how is she getting all of that from these constellations? Because I know what I'm talking about. I sit back and I say, Big G, you know, he has the power to just create something else. I'm one of them. Like, you keep your distortion and all your distorted members and figures and put me over here in the sunflower garden where I can be at peace. Because I don't want your divine title. To me, it's not conducive of my pockets. You know what I'm saying? And then you start thinking about all of the people that you influence, whether or not if it's good, bad, or indifferent. You know, you start thinking about how many could benefit from your divinity, and you definitely don't want that title. An example of it is celebrities, right? Whether or not if they have a divine title or not, they get all of this money, all this fame. They have an entourage. They put all of these people on, and they all betray them. That's the angel walk right there. Even if you're not an angel, that describes elect ones through and through. You put all of these people on, they all betray you. And then you gotta go sit down somewhere, right? To understand what you just went through. Then a bologna and cheese sandwich, some oodles and noodles, a little Kool-Aid pouch is not really all that bad, considering the fact that someone just tried to off you with some secret ingredient from your private chef. You know, it's all about who you choose. Some people say, well, you chose them. It's popular, especially in the single mother genre, where they throw all the single mothers under the bus for likes and views. To say you chose that person. I have adopted that belief, y'all. I have. I'll say you was chosen for this. Remember, I'm the one that said years ago, what was you chosen for? I know what you're chosen for now. I don't even have to shuffle no cards. I can look at you and say, oh, for God. You know what I'm talking about? It's like when you got some money and you just want to be out. Look, it's Friday, right? You got some money, your hair done, lashes done, you looking good, smelling good. You too cute to be by yourself, right? You looking too good to be rolling around in a $200,000 car by yourself. So let's get my friend and me to ride. You know it's going down tonight. Imagine that. Like, one day I want to sit and talk to every last original archangel and ask them, what are they existing for? Because I feel like it's important. Because if I got this in my short being, in my short existence, I'm not just talking about in this body. I'm talking about my entire being. If I got that in just my short existence, it's definitely a baby. I would say a seed compared to how old these ones is. If I got that just in that instant, I can only imagine what they've thought, been through. Yeah? Like I feel like this is the platform for spiritualists. Because who do you talk to? Who do you listen to? Especially in this period we in right now. If you are a practitioner and you used to getting signs and not necessarily hearing voices talk to you, and then all of a sudden you wake up and something is talking to you, you're naturally gonna think it's someone like Obatala or Goon or Safio. You don't know if it's something over there from Volcano. See, it's right there in front of your face. You figure, hey, well, it's a deep voice. It sounds like it is out of fault, divine, because of the tone. I know that it is not Big G, because I heard his voice before. You know, it's over there. Nothing from the heavenly waters is going to speak to anyone that is a Ofaka. It sounds heavenly. I'm gonna choose this one. I'm gonna say this is where I'm from because I think that's where ether is originally from. You see, get so photo. Someone said they took the wrong approach with me. It's a conversation that they were having with someone else in their environment. They took the wrong approach. They should have befriended me. They should have been more supportive of my channel. Because, not if she is, because they already know. Because of who my family is. The entire heritage. Ether's important. Then he goes through his mind and thinks about all the practitioners that would love to get their hands on me, which I've already stated. It was like that before I knew who I was, because guess what? They recognized divinity. Do you know how many Baba Asas approached to talk to me in my DMs? Y'all talking about celebrities. I had all kind of practitioners and stuff in my DMs when I was over there on the book, heavy. This is before I was even a reader. Because guess what? These is practitioners. They know good energy when they see it. Far more advanced than I was at that time. But after a few Osakinos spells that Asakanas tried to put on me, I remember I got into a little tiff with someone, right? You know, it's always the ones that want to put their camera in the face. Hey, look, I want you to see that I am with the ish and I do spells. Like I'm supposed to be scared of that, right? So we get into a little intellectual debate. She don't like the fact that I called her out on a truth from her so-called fact that she got from a book. I called her out. This is when I was in instruction, tutelage. Remember when I said you got to sleep with the knowledge? I was sleeping with books and stuff. I even had people from other places, other cities, sending me books. Y'all talking about plane tickets fly me out. I had dudes sending me doctoring. Black dudes gifting me. We totally different. Y'all must understand that. Because my approach has always been one of intellect. Intellect. I'm not leading with my boobs in any conversation. Because after you get over the physicality, you understand that I have thoughts. Knowledge of who you are is important, because then you start to understand what you can do, what you should not do, and what you ought not do. Simple as that. I was watching some content, right? And the guy, my thought was, I like stuff like this. Keep it coming, Big G, because I want my timeline to be of experience. All right. Guy has stamps on his passport. He's talking about all his dealings outside of the States. He happens to be in Nigeria. He's telling about what he experienced going through the airport and in the communities. And conveniently enough, I had just said how they feel about us. I don't know why Americans don't get it. Yes, I am an American. I'm a Native American Indian. Why Americans don't get, when you go into their region, you're not one of them. So, of course, they're going to try to get some money out of you, because there is a big difference between their currency and ours. Dude, well, I mean, I imagine that he didn't upload that video until he got up out of there. If he's a smart dude, then the upload should have came after he left their region. And he just walking down like he got some of them camera glasses on, which they knew that that's what he had. But he's talking about his experiences, and when you're in places like Nigeria, in these small communities, everybody know that you're not from there, and they get around quick. Can they shut down the ATM? They very well can. They can do a whole bunch of, hey, they got all kind of engineers and stuff out there. I don't know why you're over there playing in no man's land. It couldn't be me. My point is, it couldn't be me. Empress Tall said to me, you won't ever go to Asia. Because out of every place, I said Jamaica would be a place that I would want to go to. In Asia. Right? She said, no, Empress Tall. That's self-explanatory. She said, no. Then she proceeded to tell me about my time as her biological daughter in Asia. And the reason why she won't allow that to happen, me visiting Asia. So I wouldn't even go to Jamaica right now. First and foremost, listen, I am not with none of the locals. I don't know none of the locals intimately. I don't trust near ninja. You understand? A regular content creator can get all of the passport stamps that they want. I'm not finna do that because I'm different. You understand? First and foremost, the minute I even book a flight to Asia, Africa, Jamaica, it's gonna be so many people that know, especially in Asia. I told my spiritual spouse, I said they gonna try to nab me. We go somewhere like that together. You think I'm open? What would they do? Probably put me off in a hut somewhere. I have to ascend out of there. You know what I'm saying? I would have to pass out there into a different plane of existence type ish. You understand? And so the realization that you don't want to be either is registering. They very well. Let me tell you something. You don't know my universe mothers. Hey, when Shanagain came through there, everyone on that continent understood what that was about. So we're not gonna talk about what they already did. We're just gonna be quiet on that. It's a whole group of EVOs that consider themselves spiritual wives that understood that Shanagain was not an Orisha. That is my original mother. And so the point is, what could be done has already been done. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even over here. But it's like, you know, why go all the way over there when I'm good right here? Dude was just doing what he do where he from, walking around eating, filming. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it what I can say, because you know, if you call it a critique, whatever, he is talking to his viewers as if they already know the protocol for being in another country. That's the only thing I say he could add on to, because some don't. And so if you want to entice real in new people, then it's good to explain some of the protocol unless you in on something. If you in on something, then I can understand you not wanting to explain some of the protocol. What I noticed about Nigeria logos, they have we call them sewage drains, but they kind of like I don't know, it look weird to me. Like it's hard to explain. Like on the curb, if they have one, it's the side of a street, maybe a curb, and then it's like a drain spot all the way down the street, and then it's a street. Like, what's that for? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's down there? Type ish. Like, see, that would be where my mind is going. He couldn't get no money out of the ATM. I'm like, he gonna have to go back to the pole for that. You walking around here like, first of all, you walking around there like you live out there, kind of, sorta, right? This me. You're not in no tourist part. Like you doing too much Uber calling, and you too okay with being left on a side street and walking to your destination. What if that GPS malfunction? Like, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you off out here, you know what I'm saying? And you got your phone. Like, do you have an extra battery pack? The God I serve will drain all of that stuff. You just be walking around here, and then all of a sudden you ain't got no phone or no access. Hey, somebody tell Finesse 2 times. Satan said, "Get at him about his Wi-Fi." That's my Wi-Fi, ninja. Because he was going off about them malfunctions. He said, "Get at me, dog. You wrong. You mad at the wrong people. Y'all be sitting back. Y'all be sitting back, you know, mad with me. And remember, I'm just a messenger." Won't he do it? He'll make everything malfunction and reset everything. The people over there in that BANK know. He'll reset everything. You done lost your reservation, your key don't work, you can't get no money out the ATM. You know what I'm saying? That's the God I serve there. The most high, universal life force source, the God. The only Alpha and Omega. You know what I'm talking about? He's the author of confusion and existence. And if he say you ain't got no money in your account, he gonna show you, because he is about it, and he for sure is rowdy. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know why you playing with my God. All of the elect ones is like that. All of them. The only ones that don't understand that part of God is earth angels. The ones that's still walking around, tra la 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 la. God is good. God is great. Thank you for this food on my plate. Because God will send someone to bust your head to the white meat. You know what I'm saying? Won't he do it? It's Friday the 13th. But y'all would want, listen, you would want it to be God and not one of the archangels. Look, I seen Jesse myself. I seen Jesus, the archangel, not the entertainer. I seen him do some miraculous stuff, right? And my first thought was, can you teach me that? And they said, but somebody said, why do women archangels like that? All of the original's daughters are rowdy, and body. I don't know what y'all talking about. Because look what we up against. We I can't speak for them. I have not had time to rest in my femininity. I have not. I am over here busting down glass ceilings in my femininity. What you talking? I do not live a soft life. I used to live a soft life, 2 weeks Hair done, nails done, toes done, all that. You know, I was resting in my feminine tt back then. Not right now. You know what I'm saying? The type of dudes y'all be going for, right? They want you to look, you know, your best at all times because they'll just replace you. And y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? Those is not divine masculines, by the way. Y'all want them to be because in your eyes they got money. But they're not. No divine man is going to throw you away because your hair not done and your lashes not done and one of your fingernails is broke and you got chipped toenail polish. I mean, would you accept a divine man as being divine if he had that thought process? Well, two of your eyelashes is missing right in the middle. And every time I look at you, I'm thinking about somebody that got real eyelashes. So I'm just going to fake an argument with you. And then you can sit here and then I'm going to text you later on and say I'm staying at my boy's house. Now you got two problems. She thinking you play for both teams and she know you done already replaced her. Homeboy. You know? He don't need no reading. He always say he don't need no reading. He already know what's going down in his camp. A whole lot of. You know? When that little Chucky dog get up and start walking around. You know? Remember I said that in the reading. I said that in the reading years ago. And then somebody came out with a Chucky display. I said this ninja watch me or something? We was sitting there chopping it up. The archangels, me and God, right? In the angel way. Sometimes you don't need words to chop it up with God, right? And I said, what kind of mind? What kind of, I mean, that was a popular flick back when I was coming up, Chucky, right? And a lot of people was fearful of Chucky, just like clowns, right? But we got this little doll, you know what I'm saying? The average person will say, well, I'm just going to kick the doll. You know, it's running around. But they had a whole movement on Chucky. In the movie, the little small details, like it was supposed to have been a voodoo possessed doll, like it had a spirit in it, a being. You know what I'm saying? The movies done introduce y'all to O and J energy, but y'all just have not picked up on it yet. You know, the whole thing is that it was supposed to have been someone's being placed inside of this doll. This is why this doll was able to run around and do all of this stuff. When I asked God say all of these movies is based off true stories. Can God put your being in a doll? Yes, he can. Would it move? Would you move if you was in a doll? If he wanted you to? Do trees move? Do trees breathe? They don't have no mouth, they don't have no brain. They grow, they turn colors. I mean, we gotta start looking at things like that. Just because something doesn't have a heart, a brain, if you will, does not mean that, you know, it's not alive. There's a lot of stuff existing that don't have hearts, brains, souls, but they are alive. It is alive. It's Friday the 13th. Look, it ain't nobody outside. They might be coming. They might be coming, y'all. It's a quiet Friday the 13th. Maybe everybody like, we gonna stay inside. We gonna stay inside. It's either like Friday the 13th too much. Either Either. Let me tell you something. When I started moving through, what I noticed about Friday for my channel, it's always slow, right? At one point, Saturday was one of my highest earning days. When you pay attention to your stats, you watch the days where you get a lot of traffic. None of everything is separated. You know, I can say, well, I don't want to be here. Woo, 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 woo. And then I either encounter something better or something worse. Is that, I'm a stats type of person. I like to see the fruits of my labor. So if I'm not seeing activity where I just was at, you know what I'm saying? I feel like my work don't need to be there. Now where I'm at, I'm seeing the integration of different content. Some of y'all is realizing that y'all from somewhere else. Like you already know, if you from another country. But like some of y'all, the realization that you are from somewhere else is dawning on you. I was having a conversation with an angel, right? And I talked about this before on the live. When I was saying I come from the timeline where the sun and the moon was not out together. Y'all can say this is the reason why, that is the reason why, and I'm gonna say because I even observed two moons and a sun, two suns. So but we're not going there. Yeah, I don't have no reason to lie about it. I seen it with my own eyes. I done seen stuff flying in the clouds, and it's like it's like the average person does not look up. Like when you go outside, because I was an average person. I know that. Remember I told y'all I spent years not looking up in the sky? Like at least a good 5. If you don't get your... I spent, at least 5. I'm not friendly, y'all. Especially not right now. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm ready for all of this to be over. I'm ready to do it moving. I'm not somebody that could be on tour unless I'm with my family. That's a whole different experience, biological or otherwise. I don't see pleasure in going to other people's regions just to breathe their air and eat their food. That's not a big thing for me. He was kind of spaced out, Just I'm already dealing with enough space. Go on. Yeah, if you lost, oh well, you're gonna remain lost. Yeah. Sometimes I'm cool. Sometimes I'm cool, y'all. I'm never really friendly and sociable. If you're doing a service for me, like cooking my food or something like that, I'm gonna be cordial. Yeah. Hi, how you doing? You walk into a room, I walk in, hi, how are you? How's your day going? But I'm not the type of person. Here we go with the foolishness. It's about to start. We have the space cadets coming out, and they are ready to go to Vulcan. That's where they're ready to go, y'all. Valdemar. Yeah, y'all know those beans is real. I don't say the CB word because it sounds too much like, the panoramic. You know what I'm talking about? So, Yeah. Yeah. See that now you get it. Look at this one. Look at this one. Y'all, you know what I noticed about weekends? He look like he full of that sakeaki. It's a kata. Ha ha. I see all kind of nationalities, y'all. I seen someone the other day. The average person that said she black, he black. I looked at him. I said, what are those? They didn't look Somalian or anything like that, because you know they have a different type of look. These ones was Akatas, not Irishi. They were dark skinned. I seen dude, he looked cool one minute, and then the next day he had uh Gover what's the Gover teeth. I said, what is that? So they transforming right before your eyes. Y'all talking about my voice. At least I'm not shifting and metamorphosizing it. Because some of y'all were self-proclaimed shapeshifters. Because you imagine that, you sleeping with somebody that say they're a shapeshifter. Because it sound interesting. It sound just like Poison Donna. Hey, look, one of these fuckers, they encountered something otherworldly. And when it said like that, I laughed so hard. Hissing like the big G showed me fangs, but I doubt she had fangs. But he didn't leave from that position all night. One was told to leave out of the room and to not come back in that hotel room, and he slept in his car. These is all the ones that wanted to put a T on Earth Angels. Even if they wasn't Earth Angels, they'd see someone and they'd say, "Oh, that person looks angelic." You know, if they thought they could do spells to get someone's essence or to get someone to sleep with them so they can get it. Look, let me tell y'all something. Domination is real. When I told ascended beings from the LGBTQIA community, because some of y'all forget the QIA, and I understand why. When I told them spiritually and possibly on the upload that if you were going to be in a domestic partnership relationship, then you needed to be with one person. Because he said, I have a new contract for y'all. If you could recall me saying the men archangels is not an agreement, but some of the women understand. Some of the men archangels do too, but they don't want to be your friend for various reasons. They come from a timeline where things will happen to you because they would send them to do it, so they know. So you don't call them no men archangel if you're a part of that community, and usually they call them pantheons, which is what is understandable, and androgynous beings. But when an androgynous being comes to help you, and you mistaken androgynous being for being a part of the LGBTQIA community, you are halting your defense mechanism. Because a lot of people feel like it's always a liaison involved when you're dealing with otherworldly entities. I said that because of what's happening now, domination. There is a belief, right, that a lot of what y'all call men, but not necessarily the real men, take. And that is domination. They feel like they are going to take your essence. It's a true thing. I bore witness to that taking place last week. Not like the physical act, but the encounters. Emasculation is right. That is done partially by an energy transference, a SEX transference. Y'all understand that that is the reason why you end up with that light voice and everything else. Because I have to tell you the spiritual part. You understand that, right? So if you're in agreement with it, hey, whatever floats your boat, you like it, I love it, but I'm telling you the spiritual aspect of what is taking place with your being. So it's important for you to know. And if you say that you are this way, you can't help that you are this way, the big G and some of the archangels, male, female, men, woman, androgynous, or what have you, understand as well. But there's a lot of it's a lot of not so good individuals hidden off in the community for the purpose of taking essences, domination. And so, just so you understand, Ether, understands somewhat of androgyny. My belief is that some organs, and even in some periods, you either were born a male and you have female organs or vice versa. That is a form of androgyny. It's not just body parts. Do you understand that? And so, because I said it, that meant, and some of you were already in that domestic partnership, so it wasn't a hard thing for you to do. You bypassed a whole lot of spiritually. But the ones that are just out doing whatever with whoever, they're going through it. And if you know some, stay away from them, especially between now and April, because you're going to see a whole different side of these people. And they can't be trusted. Not because of their preference, but because of what they had slept with. It's Friday the 13th, man. I came on, it's gonna be now, I'm finna get off here because I'm tired of playing with these supreme beings. I feel like they can just talk to me, interrupt me when I'm trying to talk to God or angels, my spiritual stuff. They can just do whatever, you know what I'm saying, hoping to get an alliance, and I don't want one. Wasn't it Drake that said, no new friends? No. That's me. I don't want no new friends. That is it.